Get ready to grow. I'm Steve White. On this episode of the program, city kids see where their food comes from. Plus, our Farm Family of the Month helps support Nebraska's agricultural youth. Plus, have farm land values leveled out, and central Nebraska farmers come to each other's aid to save cattle from wildfire. In a race for jobs and dollars, is Nebraska losing out? That's our top story, as a new report says Nebraska needs to invest more in poultry, dairy, and hog farming. Unmatched anywhere, a new report says Nebraska has all the ingredients to be a world leader in livestock.
No doubt if you look around the U.S. and you look globally, there are very few places situated as well for animal agriculture as Nebraska is.
The state has more irrigated acres than anyone, with plenty of corn to feed animals.
Livestock drives the ag industry. The University of Nebraska has done a study pointing out there are great opportunities.
The university's new white paper shows the state could see a huge livestock expansion.
As much as a 25% expansion in hog finishing numbers in Nebraska. We think that it's the opportunity there to double our dairy cattle herd in the state.
But the Cornhuskers may fall short to Big Ten rival Iowa. Not on the football field, but the farm field. Agriculture is exempt from local zoning in the Hawkeye State, where it's easier to set up a hog barn like this.
The door jam's still going to have to go in there.
Climate controlled, the animals are probably more comfortable here than we are on any given day of the year.
The university report suggests counties could create incentives for farmers who cut odors by easing red tape. Already 26 counties are livestock friendly. That's not an honorary award, but a state designation.
Livestock friendly really means is that a county has set out clear and concise rules.
But without changes to streamline things, the university report says livestock won't reach its potential in Nebraska. One of central Nebraska's top employers is cutting about 200 positions because of lower corn prices. C&H manufactures Case and New Holland combines in Grand Island. The company tells NTV it will cut up to 200 positions that were filled by third-party agencies. They say it's a result of lower orders at the plant. However, they say no hourly or salaried employees will be affected. Rivals at John Deere recently announced cutbacks as well, because corn prices have fallen substantially in the last year, so it's likely farmers are buying fewer combines. Nebraska lawmakers give final approval to a bill that exempts some farm machinery from sales tax. LB 96 was introduced by Senator Annette Dubas of Fullerton, a measure she has tried for years to pass. Under the bill, the sales of repairs and replacement parts of agricultural machinery or equipment is exempt from state sales tax. Qualifying purchases made after October 1st, 2013 may be eligible for a refund. The bill passed with no opposition. And the Humane Society of the United States is fighting back after Nebraska joined a lawsuit over egg laying rules. Nebraska is one of 6 states battling HSUS. The organization supported a ballot initiative to stop what it calls inhumane confinement of egg-laying hens. They say 90% of hens are in cruel cages that are breeding grounds for salmonella. Governor Dave Heineman says that's unfair to Nebraska farmers. But HSUS claims Nebraska wants to force what it calls substandard eggs on California consumers. The matter is currently in the U.S. District Court system. Farmers come to the aid of each other to save their cattle and rangeland from fire. 17 departments responded this past Wednesday to a fire near St. Paul. The wind pushed flames too fast to keep up with at times. The burn path was at least 3 miles wide and 14 miles long, affecting more than 7,000 acres.
We called all of Howard County for mutual aid, and then our emergency management, Michelle Wadalevic, she started calling Region 26 to get their departments up north and east of here involved in this fire to try and get ahead of it to stop it.
Some outbuildings and a barn were destroyed, and some farmers suffered cattle loss. But there's no head count on the cattle yet. There was a lot of assistance from farmers with discs. People moving cattle to other areas as part of a huge effort that took an entire county's firefighting resources and then some. And in other news, as we've talked about quite a bit, that new farm bill definitely marks a shift in national farm policy. That's according to an agricultural economist from Kansas State University. He says the new bill shows the government is focusing more on risk management, while 80% of the budget is going to the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP. There's another $6 billion spread throughout other programs, one that most people don't know about, funding for land-grant universities.
And it's those investment in research that keeps the production increasing, and because we have continued to increase production both in livestock and grains is the reason that we are not short of food, and in this country at least, and as a result we've never had famine and that sort of thing.
Barnaby says if we don't continue research and improving agricultural production, then our entire population is going to outstrip the amount of food available. Despite falling grain prices, Nebraska farmland still gained value last year. The statewide average was up about 5%, showing relatively steady markets. It follows a few years where we saw land values skyrocket as much as 32% in a year. Pasture and rangeland benefited this year from record high livestock prices. Central and western Nebraska had the best increases in cropland values, and because we anticipate low grain prices in 2014, average cash rental rates are lower. Market analysts say a handful of things are working together to lift wheat prices. The U.S. Wheat Associates say concern over the political situation in the Ukraine is one of the biggest factors in recent price spikes. Ukraine supplies 6% of the world's wheat exports. Drought is also pushing up prices, along with the potential for freeze damage from the cold winter. Analysts say it's unclear how much consumers will be affected. Kids who think their milk comes from the store learn where food really comes from. Grand Island's top employers are all directly related to agriculture, like JBS Swift, Chief Industries, and Case New Holland. Yet many kids whose parents work in those industries don't know the first thing about farming, so Egg Day connects those city kids with those who live on the farm.
Well, we hear some of the strangest things, like some of the kids will call a cow a horse, or mostly they just kind of treat the animals like dogs. Like they want to name them, they want to pet them. We hear some good questions though, like where does the goat, or where does the pig come from?
That annual event is an outreach of the Grand Island Chamber of Commerce. They say it's important for kids to learn how central agriculture is in their lives. And in honor of National Agriculture Week, Congressman Adrian Smith took to the floor of Congress.
It's a time to celebrate the extraordinary diversity, abundance, and evolution of American agriculture. In 1960, the average U.S. farmer fed 26 people. Today, Mr. Speaker, the average U.S. farmer feeds 155 people, but using less land, less water, less energy, and less fertilizer. Thanks to agriculture research, which has given rise to new technologies and techniques, America's producers are adopting practices which allow them to meet food, fiber, feed, and fuel demands and preserve our natural resources for generations to come. From high-tech irrigation tools to biotechnology, growers are producing a more stable, safe, quality, and affordable food supply. As we recognize National Agriculture Week, we have much to celebrate, but many challenges ahead. Knowing the forward-thinking nature of producers combined with these exciting advances in agriculture, I'm confident we will meet all the demands of our growing world.
After the break, we talk one-on-one with Governor Dave Heineman about National Agriculture Week. And in weather, it's the return of the soil moisture map.